So another way to understand the ego and the egoic personality is if you see your true self, your soul, your eternal self, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, your I am presence, your God self, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, your eternal self, if you see that and understand it as completeness, as wholeness, I've often said that the infinite position is the original position. It's the only position that actually exists. Like, here's a good way to explain. If you look at a child and see them basically as a blank slate, and then as they learn their name and other ideas and beliefs are added to them about the world, and each one basically is taking them from the infinite position, the limitless position, because prior to being told that they were Jewish, they could have adopted any spiritual beliefs or none. And prior to being told that they were masculine and learning what this means, or that they were a girl and what this means, they could have developed any ideas about themselves and how they should act. So this is, I've told you before that the ego is an algorithm, and that basically, in the same way as an algorithm, it functions binary, dualistically, on, off, good, evil, light, dark, negative, positive, right? So not only is the ego an algorithm that determines, how it's going to act based on past data, but the way that it is doing that it is logically deciding that, is the same way a computer algorithm would work, with logic gates, by hitting on or offs, or affirmative or negatives, or in other words, attraction and repulsion. So this is why the ego judges everything in its reality as positive or negative, as good for it or not, as right or wrong. Every one of those judgments is a place we have come out of alignment with the truth. Because prior to the judgment, we could have just seen the thing, felt the thing, experienced the thing in truth. But the judgment places a perspective upon us, tells us that as soon as we believe this thing is wrong, or that this thing is right, which in relation to other things, which automatically makes them wrong. For instance, if you believe that Christianity is right, therefore all other religions are wrong, that's egoic thinking, that's dualistic thinking, it's out of alignment, and it will not lead one to the truth, which is that no belief, no man-made belief is the truth. No words can convey the truth. These are all limited ideas and conceptions. Humans are working with a very limited set of data. They're not observing, even visually, even the majority of the light and energy that's out here. Only a fraction of a fraction are we perceiving, are we experiencing, and then our minds are taking that perception and filtering it down and down and down and down into a form that is understandable to our minds and egos. It tells us what to do with the data. So then to return to the true self is to go through a process of removing all of these past judgments and orientations which either attracted one to something too heavily or caused an aversion of that thing, meaning a fear, a hatred, an anger, a judgment, a blaming something, or on the other side would be an addiction or a need, a compulsion. All of these things are really saying the same thing. Addictions, compulsions, fear, anger, all of them are really saying the same thing. They're simply saying you are not seeing the whole picture. You are not seeing the truth. You are not seeing from completeness.